What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Quadcast, the show where we get real, get raw, and get loud about mental health, substance use, and the fight to take our lives back.
Each episode, we're cutting through the stigma, dropping knowledge, sharing stories, and bringing the heat with guests who have lived it and aren't afraid to talk about it.
So turn it up, lock in, and let's break barriers, spark change, and build a community that refuses to stay silent. You're tuned into the Quadcast, and let's get into it.
You can find us on Patreon, Facebook, Instagram, or email us. The Quadcast is always looking for new guests, whether you're individuals that have experienced it, you're in law enforcement, treatment programs, nurses, doctors, or anyone that just has something to say. Come share your story with us on mental health or substance abuse.
Warning, there's cussing in this video. If you don't like swear words, well, you're
watching the wrong damn show.
Which brings me to asylums.
Okay.
Back in the 30s, like the 1930s, back in the 1860s, yeah, like way back then, it was more common for you to just get sent there because of schizophrenia.
Right.
And you kind of, I've had people call me and say, hey, there is something in my house. There's I'm having this happen. I immediately say, call a priest. I immediately, if it is somebody that I do not like I know, I've never been in their house, I immediately say, call a priest. Because if you're having, if it is stuff to where you're having sleep paralysis and you're having, or if you're not having sleep paralysis or whatever, I immediately just say, call a Catholic priest, because I'm not a demonologist, because I'm not like a demonologist. I'm not going to deal with an evil, negative spirit. I'm not going to make it more mad than it already is, because that's what could happen, because I'm not qualified. I'm not a demonologist. I can't go in there and say, hey, man, there's a demon in this house. There's something evil in this house. There's a very negative. I can say, hey, I feel something negative, but I can't say I'm going to get rid of it, because I'm not qualified to do that.
Right.
So calling that Catholic priest will alleviate those two things, whether you are schizophrenic or whether it is something, because they will oftentimes come with an exorcist, and they will come and do an exorcism on you, your house. If you're experiencing these terrible, awful things, they will be able to figure that out in 10 minutes, because they are qualified to do that. They
Express service.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Walmart curbside to go.
This house, there's nothing negative in this house. I've never
God.
felt anything negative.
I have. My dog's attitudes.
I was about to say, you want to talk. Well, I mean, I've already done an exorcism on your cat. Wherever she may be.
She vanished.
I think she's leaving.
Took care of the problem.
So
what other mental health aspects come into the paranormal side? From history until in history.
It's mostly like the schizophrenic thing, like I'm talking about. It's definitely trying to figure out whether you are in a mental health crisis. Because for at least 5 years of my life, I genuinely thought I was schizophrenic. And
she had a lot of imaginary friends.
I did. But some of them weren't imaginary. Some of them I could actually see them. Like Charlotte. I played with Charlotte and almost could not figure out where the heck Charlotte was, but I was seeing a full-fledged 4-year-old child. But literally, for the longest time, I genuinely did think I was schizophrenic. Until probably, I'd say 2018, until Mom started experiencing those, she finally started listening to me, and it wasn't like a placebo effect. Like, she genuinely started to notice those things happening around the house. And it really was not until I showed her a picture of a handprint on my leg that that happened in our house, in our hallway. Like, something grabbed my leg hard enough to leave. Like, whenever you that was on my leg. And Mom was finally like, okay, maybe we do need to do something about this, because maybe you are not actually schizophrenic. Because she was questioning it too at that point. And we didn't call an exorcist. We didn't call anything like that. Like, I literally just sat and prayed over the house. And I just opened up all the windows, opened up all the doors, and just saged the house.
Good old spring
prayed.
cleaning.
Yeah, I just prayed. I sang worship songs. I did all that, and nothing ever since that. So whenever I started investigating with Mackenzie and Emily, who I know have those psychic mediumship abilities, we then started to kind of believe ourselves that, okay, this is what's happening. Mackenzie and Emily kind of fed off of each other, and because they're best friends, they lived with each other, so they were experiencing things in their house. And then I went to their house and I would also experience those things, and they'd be like, okay, maybe we aren't crazy. And then we would be kind of we would be at, Sweet Springs. You know where Sweet Springs is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Over in Gap Mills. We were there, and that was our third investigation together, because we went on 3, and 3 big ones, back to back to back to back. And we were sitting there, and I think that's whenever I finally decided to believe that this was actually happening and not schizophrenia, was whenever they also seen the man walk across the hallway, or also seen this, or also seen that. But then other people didn't see it, and we were like, are we crazy? It's definitely, it's a fine line. It's a fine line, but it's a thick line at the same time.
Trying to think of some other questions. It is a whole different ball game whenever you experience something by yourself, because that's whenever you have a lot of self-doubt into these things are happening, than when other people do it too. Do you like investigating by yourself or in a group more?
So it depends on who you ask what you actually call this method. My friends Zach and Emily, different Zach than I will mention here in a minute, and different Emily. They're from Blood Moon Paranormal. Their videos are all absolutely amazing. If you ever want to see some intense, incredible stuff, Blood Moon is where it's at. But we were, I call it whatever, because it depends on whether I watch one of their videos or whatever. So either you call it an isolation or you call it a solo, whatever. Normally those, you go with a group somewhere. Okay, me, you, and Ashley go to.
Ashley would probably 100% go. She probably would.
So
Weird.
you, me, Ashley go to.
I'm not going anywhere.
Well, I know I'm first, but yeah. Say we go to Trains Allegheny. We're all investigating at the same time for a while, and then we decide to break off from one another and go do our solos. It depends on whether I start out doing a solo or whether I'm with the group for a while, what I like better, because I feel like if I start out with a solo, I really put my big boy pants on that whole night and I'm fine. Like I can do anything. But if I start out with a group, then I am terrified the whole night to go anywhere alone.
Yeah, I'd dip out real quick.
I don't think I was alone because we started out as a group whenever we went to Madison Seminary, which they had a psych ward up. They had like I wouldn't even call it a psych ward. It was like this big of a room, and they shoved all their psych patients in there, and it was terrible. Yeah, it was terrible. They had like a fake doctor there. It was weird. But the only time I think I was alone was whenever I walked down to the psych ward because I was trying to conquer a fear I had of the like doctor's office, psych, mind warp room place. I don't know. There's like this little conglomeration of rooms, and I was terrified of it. And I decided to walk down there by myself, and I stood in the octagon of rooms, and I just stood there, and I felt something blow on my ear, and I have never ran so fast in my life. I was like, no, you're not whispering in my ear. I'm leaving. I like investigating by myself because I do it by myself a lot. Mom will take me and drop me off somewhere. I finally got to go into a bucket list place, and mom had to go to a doctor's appointment, and I went into General Lewis, and they let me in upstairs. I don't know if I'm supposed to share this, and go in the haunted room with the blue lady, which I've wanted to do that since I was a child.
What's the story behind that?
Honestly, I don't know. Just people woke up in the middle of the night and seen the lady there. I don't know whether she died there. Like, there's not a whole lot of history on that. But the General Lewis was the General Lewis. Like, it's been a hotel for thousands of years, and they hung a slave in the dining room. That was wild. But I finally got to go in there, and I was like, okay, I'm not really sure how I'm supposed to top this for my personal bucket list, but now I have to. Somehow. I guess probably investigate Trans Allegheny. Which, I mean, that place has a lot to do with mental health anyway. Because, I mean, it was an asylum.
Right. Have you ever encountered a case that shifted your views on how mental health and the paranormal intersect?
Yeah.
Can you tell us about that?
Yeah. What words am I not allowed to say? Like
any of it? Oh, yeah.
Okay. So
we don't censor very much on this show.
Okay. Well, I didn't know if I didn't know like
I haven't got kicked off.
I'm used to being on TikTok where you can't say anything.
Yeah, well, we don't post a lot of this on TikTok, so go ahead.
Okay, so we were at Sweet Springs
And it was the Paranormal Trio, which is Brandy, Will, and Alicia.
Mhm.
It was Unfortunate Travels, and Barry was there. And then friend Timmy, and Emily, and Mackenzie. And all of these saying like these people, it matters because these people have like tons of their own experiences from that place, but we all had a group experience together that happened. So Sweet Springs was like a sanitarium. It's been a hotel. It's been a nursing home. They have a
Wedding venue.
Yeah, a wedding venue. It's not open right now. I don't really know what the status of it is. Everybody asks me constantly, "What's the status of it?" They want to go back. They want to go back. I don't know. But we were. They had. I can't really say that they had a mental health ward, psych facility, like anything like that. However, they did house patients. They housed. They did house some there, just because of our investigating. Like we know that, research and all that they did house some. There, and there was elderly people there. Now, people that are, elderly or disabled or, they're having mental health crises, they cannot defend themselves. So we were all down in this really weird hallway that I didn't know ever existed. But there was like this kind of like a nurse's station down there. It was in the basement. I think it was basically in the basement. I don't know. Like this hallway is like a fever dream to me because it was like the back rooms. Like you've heard like the back rooms theory and all that. Like you've seen this place, but you've never seen it before, or it's just empty. That's how this was. That's how I remember it. Other people will say, "Oh yeah, there was like tons of stuff down there," but we were down this weird hallway, and I would assume because these rooms were closer to the nurse's station, maybe they were the more. I would assume maybe they were the more vulnerable people, like the more unhealthy people, mental crisis people. But we heard some malpractice happening. Like we knew that there was some malpractice going on because that's the way that they were. Like they had like fake doctors, as I like to say. Like they really didn't have that many certifications to actually be a doctor or nurse, or they would just hire anybody. So we decided to do an S session down there. But we decided instead of just doing one person, we'd do 3. I don't remember whether it was Brandy or Alicia was under with me because, again, that part is like a fever dream, like small details like that. But I know for sure Emily was under. It is hard to get her to crack under those kind of circumstances because what she does as a job now is insane to me. She's like a liaison for rape victims.
Mm-hmm.
So that tying into this, it's really hard for her to actually get pulled out of a situation. But we were all, the 3 of us were under, and we all started getting the same thing. And that's whenever I started to really believe in the spirit box, is because rape would not be on the radio.
Right.
We start hearing, "Get off me. Please stop. He's raping me. Help. help. I can't move. I can't move. I can't move. Like, I can't breathe. He's choking me. He's slamming me. Like, it was literally, we were hearing the residuals of a rape happen. Because there's two different kinds of hauntings. There's an intelligent and there's residual. And that was a residual thing that was still happening in the realm of that veil that's between us and the paranormal. Like, that was over there, this was here, and that veil was gone, and we were completely hearing that happen. And you could hear certain things, like, I vaguely remember the man coming across and saying, well, you're gonna off yourself anyway, so what does it matter? You're in here because you tried to do this. You're in here because, like, you could hear, like, I think I might have heard more than everybody else, but I was literally just frozen there and, like, just kind of like fear almost. And we all three at the same time took our headphones off about the time that, like, I don't know if she was maybe killed or, like, something happened. Like, it was a really bad noise. We don't know whether it correlated with one or another, but we finally were just like, okay, this is enough. We set our headphones down. We all take a break. We go upstairs to the break room, which, shout out to that break room. That break room was actually heated. This was in November, and that place was actually heated. We all just kind of sit down, and I think a couple people went outside because, like, we had just heard, somebody that was mentally unwell getting taken advantage of in that sense.
Right.
And yeah, that was the one I feel like probably correlated to mental health, like those two things probably.
So how does investigating disturbing or intense cases affect your own mental health?
That one did. That one definitely messed me up for a good while. Like, I thought about that one a lot afterwards. Like, me and Emily, like, debriefed over it several times together with Mackenzie. And I debriefed about it a lot with a couple of my other friends. I talked about it with, it's been a long time ago, the guy that supplied some of these pictures for us of Trans-Allegheny events. I talked about it with him, and he was just like, I don't know what I would have done in your situation. But yeah, it's definitely, that one definitely messed me up.
Do you ever experience emotional burnout or fear spillover from investigations?
Emotional burnout, yeah.
Why do you think that is? Just being so invested in it and connected to it?
It's a lot. Like, I just went on one in October, and it was the last investigation I've been on other than with, like, your child, taking her. Like, that one definitely did me in for a while. Because I haven't really investigated since then. I investigated over at the Greenbrier a little bit, but, like, I have not done anything. We were hearing the residuals of a woman being waterboarded. So, like,
where was that at?
I think it's called, like, the Heyman House or something. No, that's not right. It's down in Hinton.
Hinton's a bad place.
Hinton, yeah.
I
don't remember what that place was called. It was like it had like 4 different last names museum.
something house museum. I don't know what it's called, but we were hearing. I was uncomfortable the whole time in there, like, but we were hearing that, and I was just like, that just brought me back to that rape victim, and I was like, okay, like, I probably need to take a break, and I have. And I posted a couple weeks ago that I was going to take, like, I wasn't going to post anymore for a long while. I don't even know if I said ever again. Like, I don't know. Like, I just was like, I need to have some time to where I'm not here, like, to where I can, like, process all of that, because because I do like to go, I don't like to go in the darker places, but I like to go into the medical places. I feel more connected to them, and I feel like because they were like, psych patients were forgotten for so long, and you go and actually give them attention, like, that feels fulfilling for me. But
so that would bring up a good question. Let me find it. How do you determine which locations are worth investigating?
So first of all, it's expensive to do the bigger locations. It normally costs me like $100. So I like to kind of ask around, like, hey, Vince, was this place good? Should I, like, is it worth going? Because this is going to cost like $300 normally for like a weekend to go.
Right.
So I like to hear from people that actually went out and did investigations there. Like, Post Town, I talked a lot with my friend Ernie from POV Paranormal, because he was like a tour guide there at one point, and I was like, is it like overhyped? And he was like, no. Like, he was like, I promise you, if you spend your money here, you will, like, it will be worth it for you, because it's right up your alley. Because I like schools too. I like anywhere that there's kids. It's less scary. And it's more fun to, like, play with the kids that, haven't got, their mom to play with them forever.
Yeah, of course.
But he was like, no, like, it's worth it. So I like to do that, but I also don't like to research location at all. Like, I don't like to know anything before I go in there, which kind of bites me in the butt sometimes, like the Doll's House in Pennsylvania. It's literally right next to Crescent Sanitarium, which should have set some alarms off for me, but it didn't, because we did not know until we were pulling up, hey, there's Crescent Sanitarium right there. This place is going to be bad. So, and like, if I find a location here that I think, hey, maybe that place might be haunted, I will go in, like, if it's a restaurant or something, I'll go in to eat. Like Del Sol, I literally, every time I'm in Del Sol, something happens. Like, for some reason, especially after they did renovations, because it made whatever was in there mad. Because every time I go in there, I thought it was, what's her name that works there? I thought it was her, like, walking behind me and pulling my hair, until I was sitting right next to that big, huge mirror that was on the wall. And literally, I felt my hair, like, be pulled. And I was like, okay, so actually.
Well, I shaved on mine off.
Okay. I can't just do that.
What's your process when arriving at a new investigation site?
My process? So normally it is I walk around the outside. I take my outside pictures if I take pictures. Sometimes I get so overwhelmed with excitement, I completely forget to take pictures, like at the prison. I have 2 pictures from there. And both are outside. Yeah, both are outside. And so I go outside and I kind of get a vibe. I get a lay of the land, know what buildings are right outside the window, and that's important. That's important because I can show you a picture right there. That one's at Sweet Springs.
This one?
Yeah, that one. Knowing what is outside of the windows is very important, because if you zoom into that window, we still don't know what the heck that is. We don't think anything was outside that window, but because part of our process that I do with them, that's Mackenzie and Emily. Emily's the blonde one.
So what do you mean by all out here?
Yeah, see that, like
This?
We think that's a no trespassing sign right there, but that right there, what the heck is that? We don't know. It's very important to know what's outside your windows. So I go around checking windows, check and see what's out there, branches, buildings, whatever. And then I will take all my equipment inside. Sometimes I take my equipment inside beforehand, depends on how cold it is, because I don't really like to leave it out in the cold car that long. But I will go inside. That's valid. That's valid.
Oops.
So sometimes I will take my equipment inside or whatever. Once I get inside, I normally automatically grab my K2 just so I can figure out what rooms have power to them and stuff. And if there's any kind of like underground outlets or anything like that, I kind of try to find all of that kind of stuff just quickly, but like kind of take my time. I will do my interior pictures to kind of like that picture right there, kind of get a feel of if I can catch anything in there. Like that picture right there is in the middle of the day. That's in the special education room. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that.
Yeah.
If that's the proper term for it, I don't know. I'm sorry if it's not. That's in the special education room at Post Town. Yeah. That's at Post Town. You can kind of see there's like a person standing there.
Thank you.
Yeah. That freaked several people out actually. But I really liked that room because I liked all the kids in there. That was a really fun room to be in. But go around, take interior pictures, and then normally during that, if I'm with the girls, we will do that. We'll go in and run around. They weren't there for that investigation, but I wish they would have been, so we could have went and ran around. Like, we just go and, like, normally if I'm not with them, I will somehow convince the other people I'm investigating with that, hey, this is a good idea. We should go run around the building. And normally it works. Normally I can convince them enough, hey, this is a good idea. Like me and Alicia went and did ballet just up and down the hallways, just jumping around to Swan Lake during that investigation. And then we get that equipment out. Then we start to, sometimes the best equipment is actually food. Food really spikes activity, so we'll get some food out. Or I will. I carry on some like gummy worms. Be like, hey guys, you want a gummy worm? If you make the REM pod go off, I'll leave you a gummy worm. So about every location, sorry to Adam Kimmel, but there are gummy worms scattered throughout all of his locations. Because he'd be really good to have on the podcast. Like, he could answer a lot more.
I'll leave that up to you.
Get the equipment out and just start investigating. Pick a room. Normally go room by room. There's, like I said, we look for the things we can't explain.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of the Quadcast.
Remember, breaking stigma doesn't stop when the episode ends. We're building a movement, and you're a part of it. Stay strong, stay aware, and stay connected.
And this is the Quadcast, signing out.